Hey guys, welcome to Other Man's Life. My name is Ali. Thanks for stopping by. It means so much. I have converted the majority of my buildings in my Lego city to the coveted MILS system. It was an extremely laborious process to do it, retiling again, taking it off, reconstructing. However, it was worth it. I mean, for me, the stability these plates bring to the buildings is second to none. And more importantly, the flexibility then it adds to the functionality of the city. And it's really exciting now what I can now try and do with the city. I can have better road plate compatibility. I can add water now because the depths are there, different landscaping. So it's really exciting to understand now that I've got that foundation to be able to move that forward in an extremely positive way with the city. However, one of the things that can quickly spiral out of control when you're busy converting everything to MILS is the cost of the MILS plates themselves. They are very part intensive and can rise up quite quickly in terms of total cost, and especially if you've got a lot of modulars or already in the city that you want to try and convert, it's quite a substantial amount of money. So I wanted to quickly share my approach of what I did and roughly how much I spent per plate when I converted everything to the MILS plate. Okay, so let's break down the parts that we need. There's many videos out there to explain how to construct one up, but in essence, there are really three parts that we need. A Technic brick, 4 on each plate, at each side and each corner, effectively that's used to connect all the MILS plates together, replicating the Technic pin that we see on the modular buildings. The second part is a brick, 2x2, 2x4, even 2x3, whatever. We just need some bricks to form then the foundation of the MILS plates. And then on top of those bricks is a third part, the plates that we put on. Plates of various sizes, 4x4, 8x8, 16x16, or even 6x8, whatever. Anything that you can get your hands on to be able to construct up and cover up all those bricks, but still keep the structural integrity of those of the structure of the MILS plate itself. So now that we know that part, the next exercise to understand, okay, how much does each one of those parts cost? So depending on how you want to construct it up, then determines the quantity. But if we look at the unit price for each of these parts, and I'm looking at the official Lego site for the the Pick-a-Brick section of it, and of course Bricklink is there as an alternative source for cheaper prices, but this will give a really good foundation in terms of the ratios, because ultimately you can only go lower, right? Hopefully not more expensive than Lego themselves. So what I've done, I've taken all the different scenarios of those 3 parts and different quantities and put them together and done some quick maths for us so we can have a look and visually see, okay, how much is this actually going to cost us to build one of these. So to try and make some sense of how much it's going to cost per plate, the most expensive part out of those 3 parts is the plate itself. And there's 3 main sizes that we can work with that is available on the Lego side. The largest of which is the 16x16 stud, which is also the most expensive at £2.27 currently. And you need 4 of those to actually complete a base plate to get the 32x32 stud. But then you also have the 8x8s and then the 4x4s as well. And of course, you need to increase the quantity of those to cover the base plate. Surprisingly enough, the most expensive part of the plates, the 16x16 at £2.27, actually ends up being the cheapest way to build a MILS plate, because in combination then with the number of bricks you need to have underneath the plates of that size is far less than what you would need than having a smaller plate. If you have smaller plates, you need more bricks to give it the structural integrity. So roughly what you're looking at using official Lego brand new parts is roughly just over 14 pounds per plate. This is excluding the cost of the Technic bricks, just to make it even simpler, because those will stay static and constant in every scenario, and the cost is insignificant compared to the cost of the plates and bricks, right? You could argue that the 4x4, the unit price is a lot more cheaper at 18 pence compared to £2.27, but you need 64 of them. 64 of them to cover a total base plate. And forget the fact that it's even more expensive. For me, spending just the time doing 64 plates to put down just for a MILS conversion is too much time. For me, time is also a currency in my books as well. I mean, we have a life, we have a personal life, we have families, we have friends, we have work. You know, we don't want to be spending all that time just moving down plates around, right? But ultimately, even though it's scary to look at of getting those plates of 16 by 16 because they're so expensive, ultimately you don't need that many compared, naturally, by common sense, you don't need that many. And it actually is cheaper in the long run. And this is where I can cause some controversy. I mean, if you can leave it as that and say, okay, hey, this is my scenario, I'm going to go with the 16 by 16 plate, I need 4 of them, and this is the combination of 2x2 and 2x4 bricks I need. My target price to beat is £14 per MILS plate. Let me go to Bricklink and source all the different parts at a much more cheaper price to drive that cost per plate down. And of course, you can do that, but bear in mind, shipping is obviously a hidden cost with Bricklink that you need to take in consideration. That might bump up the price, especially if you're buying something in limited quantities. And also bear in mind, not a lot of sellers will have the quantity that you need in bulk in one go. You're gonna have to spread yourself over several different sellers on Bricklink to get the quantity of parts, and that naturally then compounds the shipping costs as well, which is what I've found. And then one thing specifically for the UK buyers, now that we are not in Europe anymore, and when we buy from Europe, it could potentially be subject to additional taxes and customs. Thanks, Brexit. Awesome. But another alternative, something that I use, and again, this might be a little bit controversial, is, hey, you don't always have to go with Lego brands of these parts. These parts are going to be hidden. No one's going to see them. They're just forming a structural base. You can get Lego alternative. It's okay. You're going to be fine. One thing that I did was I used this product here for, if the focus works, hopefully. And I got this from Amazon. And these are specifically the 2x4 bricks, and they're half the price of the official Lego cost, and that then drives the cost even less. I mean, I think it drive it for just over £11 per plate. You can even go a step further, and the 16 by 16 plates, you can even get an off-brand plate of those to drive that high price of £2.27 down even further to £1.50 or something like this. So again, you can if you shop around and if you're quite smart about it, you can drive that total cost to around about £10 per plate. Really, you really can. And I had about 30 buildings to convert. I've still got more to do, more space, and have some preparation for the future. So every pound, if I can, the further I can drive that cost down per MILS plate, the easier it is. It will save me hundreds of pounds in that conversion project and preparing for the future. So I think it really is up to you. If you're not okay with having official Lego, then stick with the Lego. Your cost is going to be £14, maybe cheaper if you go by Bricklink. But if you're not too fussed about not using Lego parts, you can get it for even cheaper, for around about £10-11 per, even less potentially, or per MILS plate. So I hope that helped somewhat in terms of how to construct up these MILS. I think a lot of videos that I saw, they were utilizing the 4x4 plates and even the 8x8 plates, which is really surprising to me. And for me, it just seems too costly, and more importantly, too much time consuming. And utilizing the 16x16 for me adds a lot more structure as well. I find them a lot more sturdier than the 4x4s and the 8x8s. In my view, that's just me. I'm not a Lego engineering expert, but that's just from a practical perspective. Anyways, if you have any other cost-saving tips for your Lego building, please share them in the comments. It's awesome to read them, and thanks so much for watching. Till next time, keep building. Peace and love.